Oh boy. Here we go, and I don't have a lot of time. I'll try and set it up, but spawning in the top right-hand corner of 2,000 atmospheres, LE, we have the Peruvian Zerg player himself representing representing the CranKy Ducklings. It is Ryu. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of 2,000 atmospheres, LE, we have the Mexican, usually Zerg, but now Protoss player himself representing Estral Esports. It is JimRising. And people in the chat, you have a couple of minutes here as I quickly set things up. There we go. To place your bets. Place your predictions. Who is going to be today's champion? Is it going to be JimRising or Ryu? As a reminder, this is the grand finals, and this is not a best of 5. This is a best of 3. Nope. I know things are usually it's a best of 5 grand finals, but our players are eager to get things going, and specifically it's like 5 a.m., 6 a.m. for Ryu. It's had a really bad time for Ryu, so he prefers a shorter series, and JimRising agreed. He agreed to a best of 3. Oh boy. Alright, and here we go. So far, the openers are pretty standard here. JimRising, what I will say about his Protoss, as it's pretty good, and I mentioned earlier that he's beaten Ryu, Eric, and Chan before with it. But that wasn't the previous meta. That was with SkyToss. And honestly, SkyToss has fallen out of favor. You know, Hero has kind of reintroduced ground toss as a really prominent thing. And I don't know if JimRising knows how to do that. That's the thing. I don't know how good his PvZ is in current meta as opposed to previous meta. But let's be honest, anyone could double Stargate Void Ring. Kappa. Here we go. So far, a couple of links are moving out across the map to get a bit of a scout off to confirm whether it's going to be a Stargate or a Twilight Council opener here from JimRising. The wall is not a wall. The links are going to be able to slip on in. Stargate is thrown down in the main base, and again, these lings are going to be able to get in, and they should be able to see the Stargate. There we have it. The link does barely get into the main base. Ooh. And now Ryu knows, okay, now I need to get ready for whether it's a Void Ray or an Oracle. I need to be a little bit careful with my Overlord positioning. I don't want them too far out there. Third base is already on the way. We have plenty of queens, and eventually we're going to see some spores. Meanwhile, Ryu doing what he does best. He is hiding his his first Overlord here in the corner of the map. Later on, with either Overlord speed or with a lair, he's going to try and sneak in for a follow-up scout with this Overlord. The goal here is for this Overlord to survive and avoid the Void Ray, if there is a Void Ray. Oh my god. SOS, is that you? Parting, is that you? Parker Mike, is that you? Oh my god. People in the chat, this is one of the greediest things you can do. It's disgusting, and it's all things Protoss. +1 air attack is on the way, and this is revealed here to Ryu as he does confirm that it is researching. We don't have a Void Ray because JimRising is skipping the Void Ray and going straight into either Carrier or Tempest. Now, Tempest openers, there was like a 2-month period where Parting and SOS and a bunch of the Korean Protosses were trying to do this. Even the European Protosses, they were trying to do this last year with mixed success. The problem with Tempest is that when it got scouted, if it got scouted, it got shut down really easily because Aspire with a handful of Corruptors would just not just kill the Tempest, but also counterattack immediately. We see that it is not fast Tempest, it's fast Carrier instead. And again, if this gets scouted, Ryu should be fine. You just need to make queens. That's all you need, queens and spores. And Ryu, he's coming in with Overlord speed. Again, a unique stylistic thing for Ryu is he does invest into Pneumatized Carapace early for this scout, And the Overlord dives in. Stalker can't do anything. The Overlord sees the carriers. He sees the fleet beacon. Ryu sees all. And I'm sure he's shaking his head right now. What the hell? Oh my god. The greed, the disrespect from JimRising. So here we go. Spores are being thrown down. If this isn't scattered, by the way, and if the Zerg player doesn't have enough queens, like the 2 carrier push can end the game. They rock up, they kill the queens, they kill all the workers at the 3rd. It's disgusting when it does happen. But again, because Ryu knows it's coming, 2nd spore thrown down. We have, oh my god, he's even going straight into an infestation pit as well to go into hive. I'm going for +1 range. Interesting choice. Ryu is deciding not to go Spire. It looks like he wants to go Queen Infestor. As the queen production has not stopped. Meanwhile, here we go. The first 2 carriers are coming across the map. And again, these 2 carriers are the strongest. And if it was unscouted, this would have done a lot of damage. But look at the spores. Look at them rotate here with the carriers. Look at the queens keep up as well. They have plenty of energy for transfuse to keep these spores alive. And JimRising so far isn't doing too much with this. He's trying, don't get me wrong. And yo, can he target down the queen? No. Oh, maybe he can get 1 in the retreat. Oh my god. Maybe he can get a... Oh my god. Maybe he can get a drone. No, in the end, the carriers do sneak into the main base. And yo, the queens are a little bit out of position. These 2 carriers, they have plenty of interceptors. They can keep going. Oh, and damage is being done. Spores are being focused down left and right. The queens are going to take a long time to waddle into the main base. And JimRising is dealing damage. Oh, some interesting target fire there on the carrier by Ryu. At the same time, 2 more carriers are coming out. This is getting a little bit out of control, but Hydras are on the way here for Ryu. So Hydra Queen is the current answer to this question. Is it gonna work though? Because this lair, it's going down. JimRising is making this work. The queens took like 10 years to get into the main. Oh my god. Even a couple of infestors being focused down. Things are getting out of control here. Things are not looking good for Ryu. Despite scouting it, the execution wasn't quite there. Okay, all the interceptors get taken down in the main base. The lair does get saved. Meanwhile, here at the 3rd base location, these 2 carriers have taken a lot of toll damage, actually. The shields are already stripped away. Where are those Hydras, though? Here we go. The infestors are waddling on in. Ooh, Fungu is going to try and lock down one of these carriers who do have a bit of a recall. But what about the other 2 carriers? Oh. Oof. And it looks like with that Fungal... Oh my god, both carriers survive. Alright, queens are going to the main. Hydra's here at the 4th. Looking at the units lost tab, I'm curious. Okay, I thought more drones were going to go down at the 4th base. Not going to lie. That Spore did a great job at tanking damage. Queens died, but we can afford to lose queens. They're only minerals. Ryu, he holds on and he didn't lose too much. Lost a lot of minerals, don't get me wrong, but didn't lose too much gas. Oof. Meanwhile, behind this, Jim, he got his 3rd up and running. He's working on his 4th. He has survived the early game. And he is getting well underway into the Sky Toss. Like, I will say that JimRising is ahead right now. Ryu will have Microbial Shroud though. And I know some people think Microbial Shroud is a meme, but with no... Oh my god! But one of the infestors does go down, and we have a Fungal, not a Shroud. I was gonna say, without Storm and without Disruptors, Microbial Shroud actually is really good. Surprisingly good, mate. Surprisingly good. Meanwhile, the lair, oh my god, is it gonna go down? Oh my god, we don't have enough energy for Transfuse! Oh! Oh, it's gonna be so close. The interceptors are being focused down one after the other. Oh god. And it looks like the base will barely survive on 80 HP. Oh. But yeah, without splash damage, there's nothing to stop these Hydras. Like, Hydras are actually good here against Skytos when there's nothing to support the units in the air. Here we go, the Hydras do rock on up here, and again, whether it's Fungal, there we go, or the Shroud. The Shroud is exactly what we need here. Ay, ay, ay. It's gonna take a long time to deal with these Hydras. It looks like they are slowly going down, though. But you know what's going down faster? The Interceptors, Bob. Oof. But in that fight, jeez, what was that? 15 Hydras did get picked off. A bit of a fungal is going to be able to hold on for the time being. JimRising pushing out across the map at the same time. We do have a couple of carriers here, but they're going to get focused down. Ooh, nice pick off by Ryu. He is going to lose the base in the process. But you know what? Now it's not just Hydras. The Queens have arrived. Because of that, the main base is a little bit exposed. So Ryu has to be careful. He's going to be relying a lot on these spores. Carrier gonna try and slip on in. More carriers on the way. How many carriers do we have? We have 11 carriers, mate. 11. I still believe, though. I believe in our spellcasters. Here we go. Microbial Shroud gets thrown down again. And with the help of not just Shroud, but Transfuse, mate, nothing here should die. Ay, ay, ay. Here we go. Every single Void Ray gets focused down. Going for the carriers, not the interceptors. The bold move. I don't know if this is the best move, though. Yeah. All the queens end up falling. GG gets called, and JimRising takes the game. Oh, I don't know about that target fire, I'll be honest. Like, the Microbial Shroud was doing a lot there, but that was a lot of DPS. It's hard to say. Maybe the carrier count was already at critical mass. Maybe. Oh, God. GG, well played. JimRising takes a lead. Ryu struggling, especially in the beginning. Remember, 6 queens died. Ugh. And if those queens had survived, maybe we would have had a bit of a different game there. Let's be honest, those 2 carriers did more than they should have. The first 2 carriers. Far more. Like, Ryu saw it coming, and he was trying to get ready, but specifically because of his base layout, he was struggling to keep up with the carriers. The way that he expanded meant that the carriers could move from the 3rd and the 4th straight into the main. Instead, if Ryu had expanded horizontally, then he wouldn't be abused that much, and he wouldn't be out of position that much either. Oof. So yeah, really well done there by JimRising. Who needs splash damage, mate? Oh, God. When it comes to that final fight as well, I do think that Ryu was also a little bit too trigger happy, even though he had a line of spores behind him. Bear in mind what I just said. The spores were behind him. They weren't helping out in the fight either. I think that he just over anticipated how powerful his army was, and I did as well, to be fair. I was like, yo, with queens and hydras and the shroud, he should be good, right? And I think Ryu believed that as well. Yeah, so just miscalculated a little bit. Oof. And now we get into game number 2, and spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Glittering, a large map, Glittering Ashes LE, we have the CranKy Duckling himself representing the CranKy Ducklings, hailing from the land of Peru. It is Ryu. And spawning in the top right hand corner of Glittering Ashes LE, we have the Mexican Protoss player. He is purple, representing Estral Esports, leading the series 1-0. It is JimRising. And this is where I worry a little bit. I start to worry because we're on Glittering Ashes, a large map, a good map for Skytoss. So what I will say is, if we have a regular opening, I think Ryu has better late game compared to JimRising. That's if we have a regular opening though. Remember that last game, JimRising, he skipped the Void Ray and he went straight for a Fleet Beacon, went straight into carriers. He skipped a lot of steps to get ahead. And if he does that again, I don't know if Ryu can really punish that. And I do think, like, again, he's not going to be able to get into, whether it's Hydra Lurker Viper or, you know, Corruptor Viper, Infestor, or whatever composition Ryu wants to go for in the late game. I don't know if he's going to be able to get there in the end, as Ryu, oh my god, goes for a very fast third hatchery. Oh my god, that was the third hatch before pool. I love it. You know what this is? This is Ryu saying like, mate, you just clowned me in the previous game. You didn't like respect like my ability to be aggressive in the early game or anything like that. And I know that, mate, you're Jim. Wait, what are you gonna do? Let's just go as greedy as possible. This is so greedy. He went hatch. I think he went gas pool as well, not even pool gas. Oh my god. And this is terrifying because this delays your queens. This delays your lings as well. This means that like early on, you know, you're vulnerable to aggression. But JimRising, he didn't even, I mean, he probe scouted, don't get me wrong, but he only checked the one base. He doesn't know. He saw the timing of the hatchery, and he even made a zealot to defend at home. So this is almost as if he's responding to a pull first. I think he realizes that something is wrong, but wow, Ryu is getting away with this. I'm shocked. I'm actually shocked. Especially because another thing to take note of, even though we have a cyber core, there's no adept. If there was one adept, two adepts, they would be across the map. They would be across the map right now, and they would be killing workers. Like, because of how late the lings are, because of how late the queens are, they would be able to do, especially here at the third. But there are 0 adepts. Like, Ryu is playing the player right now. He knows that JimRising isn't known for his early game control or early game aggression in this matchup. It's about Skytoss. So this is a very nice lead here from Ryu. If you're a Zerg player in the chat, don't do this. This is metagaming. This is specifically because he's playing against Jim. This would not work against any other player. Just bear that in mind. As it is going to be a Stargate opener, straight into a second Stargate. This is almost double Stargate Void Ray, but we have a Robo as well, which is weird. It feels like Jim wants to go Void Ray Disruptor. That's what it feels like. I know Void Ray Disruptor has been a composition that he's used in the past, and that he prefers compared to Void Ray Storm, for example. So we'll see if he throws down a Bay as soon as this finishes. I'm curious. First Void Ray is going to come across the map. Ryu is getting ready for a scout. He does have Pneumatized Carapace on the way. He does have his Overlord here in position on the right hand side of the map to dive on in to see what's going on. There is the Bay. So again, this is what JimRising used to do last year. Just double Void Ray into Disruptor. But this is a faster Robotics Bay than I've ever seen before when you're opening up double Stargate. We can see this is inefficient. JimRising can't even afford to make use of both Stargates right now. I feel like this Robo was a little bit too early. Quite a bit too early, to be honest. So we do see Ryu getting on in, and because it's so early, he's going to see everything. Ay. Meanwhile, we're going to see a cancel. We see a cancel just in time. Meanwhile, the Overlord gets into the main base. He sees both Stargates. He sees the Robo. He sees the Robotics Bay. Even sees the Fleet Beacon. So he knows, okay, Skytoss, Disruptors, JimRising once again being very greedy. He's doing this all off of only 2 gates. He doesn't have any gateway units to defend. He is vulnerable to like a Hydra timing. This is so weird. I was talking about a Hydra timing. Specifically, the reason why you would go Disruptors to support Void Rays is this helped against Queen Walks. But Queen Walks don't exist anymore. So like, again, I don't know if I like this. I don't know if this is necessary. And I love this from Ryu. He's going Spire. If he wanted to, he could go Muta. Oh, but he's not. Okay, never mind. So Ryu is meeting greed with greed. Who can be more greedy? JimRising is getting away with so much tech right now. 2 Stargates, Robo Bay, and Fleet Beacon. An insane amount of tech. He is so vulnerable right now, and Ryu isn't being aggressive. Instead, he's getting a 4th base. He's droning up. He is also taking up Infestation Pit, Spire. Ryu is saying right now, I'm going to meet you in the late game, and I think I can do better than you. And usually I would agree, but this is a scary prospect. This is very scary. Ryu is not looking to end the game before JimRising can get into the swing of things. So Ryu's on 4 bases. JimRising, I think he recognizes this in a way, so he also gets a fast 4th base as well. Like, this is just 2 players. This is like no rush 15 minutes. Like, this is, aside from, of course, JimRising being aggressive with these Void Rays. But yeah, this is basically get to the late game as soon as possible. And Ryu is getting there faster. Ryu, look at the drone count. 84 drones already. 84 workers. Like, he's done droning. Now it's all about the army. It's all about the upgrades. Meanwhile, the Void Rays, you know, stemming the tide, killing some creep tumors here and there. Queens were out of position. Again, a little bit of a slip up by Ryu. Meanwhile, Ling Runby is going to be able to hit the 4th base. +1 melee is already done, so the shield battery goes down. Pylon as well. Maybe even the basic cell. Oh. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yo, the shields go down. A little bit of hull damage as well, but Ryu doesn't want to risk it. He will back off in the end. Gaining speed on the way. There's the second Spire for double upgrades to eventually go into Broodlords if we need Broodlords. God, this is a, for me, this is a scary game. Because usually you don't want to let the Protoss player go into Skytoss like this unhindered, but yeah, you know, it's like both players. How good is their late game control? That's what it's about. Ooh. Ling Runby is going to find a little bit of damage at the same time. Void Rays try to focus down that 5th base, but the Corruptors get here just in time. Disruptors are getting focused down. Oh my god, these Lings are getting out of control. Why are they getting out of control? Void Rays are out of position, and there's no gateways. We can't warp in to defend. Again, we only have 2 gates, so 2 Zealots get warped in to help on now. Meanwhile, the next site is being focused down. There we go. That is a kill. Ryu keeping JimRising on 3 bases with only a handful of Lings. Again, JimRising is working with a very small army right now. It takes a while to really ramp up, but boy, is he ramping up. Carriers are coming out one after the other, 2 by 2. But here come the Vipers. Here comes a +1 air attack. We should be seeing +1. There we go, 1-1 on the way here for Ryu. Queens? Where are we going? I don't. Yeah. I was like, are we really queen pushing right now? No. Okay, they're just being used defensively. Creepers on the way. Corruptors are coming out with Vipers to help support. Do we have enough Corruptors? Is +1 enough? That's the question. Ooh, we already see almost one-shotting the Void Rays. We do have enough NG4 for parasitic bombs. But who needs them when we have a yoink? There we go. Powerbomb thrown down. 2 powerbombs thrown down on the Void Rays. Force them to split up, and you know what? That just exposes the carriers. And a third. Oh my god, no. A third powerbomb gets thrown down as well. The Void Ray count almost gets reset. Ryu has to respect the carriers though. He will back off. Gonna rebuild. Nice pick off so far. But JimRising is also working on High Templar. He's also working on Archons. Oof. And Archons are definitely going to help him out when it comes to zoning away all these Corruptors. He doesn't have them yet, and a Storm is still on the way, so maybe Ryu can abuse the fact that there aren't too many Void Rays yet. Meanwhile, 2-1 still on the way. Interesting choice. It looks like Ryu doesn't want to go for Broodlords yet. It makes sense because he's focusing on his upgrades. He's going for Ultras instead. So highly upgraded Corruptors with Ultras to try and dive into the High Templar. Storm. Oh, feedbacks. Feedbacks are thrown down as well. We'll get 1 carrier for his troubles. Meanwhile, Bailing Runby being set up to go straight into the main. Corruptors are trying to distract the main army, but oh my god, the Bailey's actually going for the Cybercore? Oh, Cybercore barely survives. Meanwhile, another carrier goes down. Ugh, at the cost of a handful of those Corruptors, though. Ryu has to be careful. And Now those 7 Ultras are on the way. So the Ultras, their goal is not just to shut down the Archons, more importantly, to get on top of the High Templar and force them to be morphed into Archons. And to make sure that not just Storm, but feedbacks aren't used on the main army. So Ultras, ideally, they come in first. Vipers a little bit behind to throw down either Power Bombs or Abducts. Ryu is getting the ideal late game army. Falling a little bit behind when it comes to 2-2. 2-2 would be great here, or 3-2 even. But regardless, still doing a great job here out on the map. His creep spread is looking good. He's maxed out, 200 supply. Void Rays are looking exposed. Oof. Only 1 Power Bomb does land. Nice split there from JimRising. Corruptor shocking around, trying to find a way in. Ultra's gonna find a free base. Not bad, not bad. And we'll see if JimRising can hold on to this 4th base. I mean, the Archons are coming in from the side. They're being zone away. The High Templar are gonna go down. 1 High Templar does get focused by those Ultras. Oh, but only 1. Oh, again, JimRising being very patient here. I mean, sorry, Ryu being really patient. Really respecting those High Templar. Oh! Oh god, and here we go. He's going for it. There are no more Archons. We do have a Storm though, and it does connect here with these Corruptors. But I love the stacking on that Power Bomb, and just like that, there are 0 Interceptors remaining. God, that was a really quick move there by Ryu. I wasn't really feeling it, but that was really nicely done there. What he did was, with the Power Bomb, he stacks on top of the Parasitic Bomb, and that Parasitic Bomb killed every single Interceptor. GG gets called, and Ryu will take game number 2. Oh my god. That was a ballsy move, but because there were no Archons, he could afford to stack up. There weren't a lot of Void Rays either. There was a Storm, and that's why I was a little bit worried. Like, oh, do we really want to stack against the Storm? But it was like barely out of range. Only 1 Storm connected. Ooh. Ryu takes game 2 in a interesting game where, again, both players just teched up like madmen. And now we have an ace match. We are going all the way to game number 3. Oh. Ah. Oh boy. And here we go. I love AOJ scared in the chat for the last game. Is this Carrier Rush or Tempest? Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Oh, God. But here we go. The final game of the tournament. As a reminder, this Grand Finals is a best of 3, not a best of 5. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Blackburn LE, we have the Peruvian Zerg player himself representing the CranKy Ducklings. It is Ryu. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Blackburn LE, we have the Mexican Zerg player himself representing Estral Sports. It is Jaime Arturo Duran Silencio, JimRising. Oh boy. Well, that previous game where both players were insanely greedy shouldn't happen here on Blackburn. We go from one of the largest maps into one of the smallest maps. Oh boy. I also just realized that I have not removed the mod. This is not ESL Pro Tour. I do apologize. I will remove this soon, TM, for the next tournament. Shaking my head. Yeah, we like that was a really weird game last game. Like the opener specifically. I haven't seen anything like that before, but I don't expect to see that here. Again, because of the short rush distance by ground and air, it means that both players can be aggressive, and there we go. You love to see it. Ryu, he does it again. He goes hatch, hatch, gas, pool. So greedy. He did this last game, and I understood on Glittering Ashes because it's big, because JimRising wanted to be greedy as well. So you can afford to, again, specifically against Jim, you can afford to cut as many corners as possible to be greedy. But he's doing it on Blackburn as well? This is crazy. This is actually crazy because it's even more so greedy because of the gold base. Like, your third is so exposed. If JimRising makes some adepts, like, Ryu is gonna have such a hard time holding and such a hard time keeping his workers alive. Ay, ay, ay. Meanwhile, JimRising, I think, panicking a little bit. He threw down his second pylon at his natural. So this is defensive play. This means he's throwing down his third pylon in his main, but because of this, if one pylon dies, at least everything is, or most things are going to stay powered here. An interesting choice by JimRising. Again, to me, this tells me that he's a little bit afraid of aggression, but he isn't making the zealot this time, so he's being a little bit more efficient. But again, I hope he like two adepts, man. Cybercore finishes. And there we go. The first adept is on the way. Okay. This time he is going to be a little bit more aggressive. Remember, on Glittering Ashes, he made a zealot and just went straight into Void Rays. It was crazy. Ah. Oh my god. Meanwhile, Ryu fully saturates that gold base. He's getting away with this so far. He did have an Overlord over the base, and he also confirmed that there was no zealot, so he should know that an adept is coming out. But only one. Only one adept. JimRising, he's not moving out. The role of this adept is to be a wall. So Ryu is getting away with droning. Quickly checking the units tab. He made 2 lings, but only 2 lings. Like, he is being so greedy, and yeah, he's just getting away with it. JimRising, on the other hand, once again, ooh, double Stargate Fleet Beacon. He wants to go for the fast carriers again. This is scary. This is scary because carriers are going to hit that much faster on Blackburn. Short rush distance by air, it takes a couple of seconds to move out across the map. Ryu will have the economic advantage with all these minerals. He can make more queens. He can go into +1 melee and go for a Ling Flood. But he needs to scout the main. He needs to figure out what's going on because he's in the dark right now. And now is not the time to be in the dark. Oh boy, oh boy. Not like this, puppy, not like this. There you go, +1 air attack is on the way. Oh, what? How? Lings slip in. JimRising was not on hold position, and these Lings, they're going to get behind the mineral line. They see one Stargate, they see the Fleet Beacon, they see the second Stargate as well. If they wanted to, maybe they could even focus on the pylon. They will try and get one pylon at least. So Ryu sees everything. Can he defend this time? If you remember, this is how JimRising took game number 1. Those carriers did a lot of damage. We'll see. Personally, I would love a Hydra timing on this map. I do think we saw that the Hydra timing didn't really work last game. I think it will do better this game. Here we go. We have a macro hatch on the way because of all the minerals. We have an infestation pit on the way as well. +1 range will help the queens. I hope that Ryu isn't too deterred by how poorly the Hydras handled game 1, because I do think that like there were a couple of things that Ryu could kind of work on. Meanwhile, a handful of ground units are on the way across the map. Do we have anything on the ground for Ryu? We don't. So this 1 adept and 2 zealots could do a lot actually. Uh-oh. Queens have to try and respond here. Meanwhile, 1 adept does get all the way into the main base. Just for a scout though. Oh, even a oh my god, the transfuse on the adept. Sorry, on the drones. 0 drones go down. Were the transfuses worth it? It's kind of the big question. We'll see, we'll see. Meanwhile, the carriers have arrived. The carriers are on the way. The first carriers here across the map, but the queens will meet it. We need a couple more spores, I feel. There we go. Spores are being thrown down left and right. Hydras and infestors are on the way. I think that going into infestors this early is maybe a little bit too greedy, but we'll see if we can get away with it. So carriers are going towards the gold base. 2 spores and queens are here to meet them though. This time the carriers don't deal damage. This time the carriers cannot abuse the terrain to bounce between bases. They have to go the long way around. The main is looking exposed though, not gonna lie. Sorry, the hive is at the natural, not at the main base though, so we can afford to lose it if it does come to that. Carriers are looking to sneak on in. Ryu doesn't see this. He doesn't see until now. Now he has to respond. Yeah, the spores weren't here in position either. These carriers, they can get a queen. We'll get a high energy queen and a spore as well. This is looking a little bit scary. Things are getting out of hand. Uh-oh, a second queen goes down as well. A third queen as well. Oh. The queens with microbial shot are trying to do what they can, but these carriers are getting a little bit too much damage. They break through the spore. Now they can work on the drones as well. Hydras are on the way, and maybe it's going to be enough. At the same time, bit of a ling run by does hit the gold base. Oh, transfuse plus microbial shroud doing whatever they can. Even a fungal on the interceptors. Barely enough. These queens didn't have enough energy for another transfuse. That was close. Whew. Only one drone died. Only one drone. And 4 queens. But again, a better defense this time from Ryu. Very close defense. Vipers coming out as well. This is a lot to control. Ryu has to transfuse with queens, has to shroud and fungal with his infestors, and has to control his vipers. Like, can he handle this is what I'm a little bit worried about. He has to juggle a lot. And he has to avoid the Novas. Or abduct the Novas, to be fair. Oh boy. Carriers, they are coming back with a vengeance. Ryu, though, about to max out. He got away with the gold base. Bear that in mind. Like, he was greedy, and now that greed is starting to kick in. The gold is kicking in. Oh boy, here we go. A couple of queens already getting caught out of position. 2 queens, 3 queens go down. Very nice pickup here by JimRising. Meanwhile, we don't see a yoink. We have a recall instead. JimRising, he sees the Vipers. He wants to get the hell out of here. And now Ryu is maxed. It is time to move out. This time he has the ideal army. This time he has all the spellcasters. And what does JimRising have to defend? He has 2 shield batteries. He does have some disruptors though. These disruptors are so important. If they get abducted, it's over. It's GG. Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, and there we go, the abducts come out! Every single disruptor goes down before a shot goes off, but we still have to respect the carriers. But there we go, the microbial shrouds get thrown down. We don't have any splash damage at all. Yoinks come in, and the carriers are being focused on one after the other. We do have a couple of zealots helping out here, and the Hydra count is being thinned out, don't get me wrong, but the momentum is real. The interceptor count is gone. Jesus Christ. Ryu handling this engagement so well. We have another disruptor shot going off. It connects with the queens, not the Hydras. Where did the Vipers go? They went back home to gather some energy. And the Hydras have broken on through. This third base is going down. Workers are being saved, but again, it's just a Jim. He can't afford to lose this. Oh god, here we go. Disruptor comes out. Oh my god, a juicy connection there on those Hydras. Another Nova goes off, connects with the queens. We need to transfuse, Papi. We do transfuse barely in time. A couple of queens do go down though, but again, the interceptors, we just don't have enough. And here come those Vipers. The yoinks are real. And Ryu may have been done dirty in game number 1, but here in game number 2, again, he was far more crisp when it came to his positioning with his queens, when it comes to his response. We do have some more disruptors coming up, but again, the yoinks. Ah. Oh my god, the yoinks and the microbial shrouds. Ryu, he will not die to Sky Toss. Not today. Not 2 games in a row. Oh my god. JimRising did keep the workers alive, don't get me wrong, but he did lose his 4th. He lost his 3rd as well. JimRising is stuck on 2 base economy. He does have a lot of disruptors, and again, the Vipers have to regather that energy, but oh my god. The shots stay with, mate. There's one left. Decent connection. He needed it to be better though. And with that, GG gets called. Ryu starter steps his way to victory, and he is our Sentimiento Latino 134 champion. Oh, GG, well played. Congratulations, Ryu. My son. The cranky duckling. He does it for the boys. He does it for the stream. He does it for everyone in the chat as well. Congratulations. Again, there's a reason why I always praise Ryu for his late game control. Against Skytos, even against the perfect Skytos army, he is so good with his Vipers. He's so good with his Infestors. He's so good with either his Hydras or his Corruptors, whatever he's working with, even with his Transfuses. He was utilizing everything so well there, out-controlling JimRising. We saw that he did fall in game 1, Ryu I mean, and a lot of that again was because he was a little bit behind, and I do think that he was a little bit overly ambitious with his pushes, overly aggressive as well. Here he was a little bit more cool, calm, and collected. He was like, you know what, I'm not pushing out until I have my Infestors and my Vipers. I need everything. I'm gonna take this seriously, and he did. And you could argue maybe even over prepared. Like he was maxed out as well. Like, oh my god. But a great metagame as well. A great way to abuse the fact that JimRising doesn't really work with gateway units early on. Going for the triple hatch before pool. It was, again, hatch, gas before pool. Crazy. Never do that on the ladder, people. It doesn't work on the ladder. But in tournament play, if you know that your opponent is going to leave you alone, then you can get away with it. And that's exactly what Ryu did. GG, well played. Beautiful. Congratulations, Ryu. Well deserved win here. And congratulations to Jim as well, because it wasn't an easy road to get here to the grand finals, and he did take it all the way to the ace match. Making second place isn't bad at all. They both walk away with some money. A bit of a reminder, Xavi also walks away with some money, as he did win that random raffle. And what a day, what a match, what a tournament. GG. I see Pashka in the chat. Best of 3 final? Yes. Yes, best of 3. Both players agreed to a best of 3. It wasn't just Ryu, it was also Jim. This is because Ryu lives in Europe, so it's at a really bad time for him. He didn't want to stay up too long. So yeah, that is how our story ends here. Oof. And with that, thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I really appreciate it. Oh my god, people are gonna make some bank here betting on Ryu. Oh my god, the betting was heavily in favor of JimRising. Shaking my head, people, shaking my head. Ryu played so well, unbelievable. Yeah, again, he's so good with his late game control, man. With that army controller specifically, it's so good. So I'm so proud of him. He's beautiful. If you don't know who Ryu is, he's one of the best players in all of Latin America. There's a reason why he's a champion. He has gotten top 4 in DreamHack. He's like a contender for top 4. Like, I think I would say Ryu is solidly in the top 5. Like, when I think of the top 5 players, I think Special, Kelazar, Cham, Ryu and Eric. That's kind of where my mind goes to. And yeah, Ryu, he puts in a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of passion here for StarCraft to make it, and I wish him the best for the next season of DreamHack. It's still a ways off. Before DreamHack, of course, we have TSL, and I'm sure Ryu is going to be there for the TSL Latin American qualifiers, which is going to be in a couple of days. But before that, our next broadcast is going to be in a couple of hours. Oh boy, I'm gonna have to go and make some tea. I'm gonna have to like lube up my throat a little bit and get ready, because the next cast here on the Cranky Ducklings is going to be in 1 hour and 30 minutes. In 1 hour and 30 minutes, it is the Team Liquid Star League number 9 Oceania qualifiers. I'm going to be here casting with Yaku Zaku. We're going to be casting together. After the Oceania qualifiers, we have the China qualifiers 3 hours later. 2 hours later, actually. So back to back to back. Qualifier after qualifier, cast after cast after cast. 3 tournament casts today. 3 tournament casts. That's also why I didn't cast the first couple of rounds of Sentimiento Latino. I wanted to preserve my voice a little bit, especially because I'm solo casting right now. I'm not going to be solo casting the rest of the day, but I can already feel my throat straining a little bit. Solo casting is a hard thing to do, especially when you're yelling a lot, and and I do like to yell. I'm passionate, man. I'm passionate. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Give Ryu some love and support as well. He did so good today. I'm so proud of him. So proud of him. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. As again, it was a pretty stacked bracket with a lot of great players. And we will see you in an hour and a half. I'm gonna give someone a raid. Probably Babylings. Babylings, she's like a pseudo duckling. We floated around the idea of her joining the Ducklings. We'll see what happens. I'm still undecided on that. We'll see. But she's a good friend. So give her plenty of love. She's streaming right now. And I'm sure she'll return the favor when we do go live later on. And I hope everyone in the chat enjoyed themselves. It was a great broadcast. It was a great tournament. Oh. What is happening in the chat right now? Why are we talking about metal? It probably does work at gold level. They're talking about trying to play like Ryu. Yeah, I mean, true. Like, you're gonna have mixed success on the ladder, especially like if you open up like that and if you're getting proxied. Like proxies are pretty, like cheese is pretty prominent at lower levels. Yeah, it's hard to get away with it. But yeah, thank you so much everyone for watching. If you want to tune into more of myself, I'm light_VIP. I do stream throughout the week. I may stream later tonight after all the casting over on my own personal channel. It's ladder sessions. If you're interested in watching me ladder, then you can tune in there. But if you're only interested in the CranKy Ducklings, if you're only interested in casting tournaments, then follow us here on the CranKy Ducklings. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We have a YouTube channel, and we also have a Discord if you want to talk with us outside of just the cast and outside of just the Twitch chat. You can also support us. You can support us on Patreon. You can support us on Twitch. All the money that we make here on Twitch goes towards our tournaments, and it goes towards our players, because we do salary our players. Players like Vindicta, Eric, Starduck, Oreo when he was active, and Ryu as well. The champion. Today's champion. We do pay them for their time. We do pay them for again investing so much time into getting good at StarCraft and performing as well as they can. We even, with that money, we even flew Vindicta to Valencia. Vindicta, he was in Valencia for DreamHack. We didn't pay for the entire ticket. He did crowdfund the rest. But we do try to support our players as best as we can. We're not the biggest team. We don't have the most funds. We don't have the biggest roster. You know, it's small, but it's sweet. It's all about quality, less about quantity. We care about our players. I care about my players. They're my boys. So yes, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Like, we wouldn't be able to support them if it wasn't for people in the chat. You know, subscribers like Sounder, you know, bit contributors like ARJ Skater, you know, all that stuff, right? Like, yeah, thank you. It's really cool. Thank you. And yeah, with that, in an hour and a half, we're going to be live again. I need to go and get some breakfast. I need to go get food and get ready for the next broadcast. So mark it on your calendars. Come back here in an hour. An hour and 30 minutes. We'll be live again with plenty of high quality StarCraft. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your day, especially if you don't turn up. You know, I hope you have a good day. Hope you enjoy yourselves, and thank you so much for watching. Until then, ciao. Wow.